leader of the Alliance for Revolutionary Change, John Allan Kojo Kyerematen, has promised to rescue Ghana from the duopoly of the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress and usher in a period of economic prosperity if elected as president come December 7, 2024. He made these comments at the official launch of the Alliance for Revolutionary Change here in Accra. My colleague Moses Desire Koyo was there.
Ladies and gentlemen, please resume your seats.
The Alliance for Revolutionary Change, an amalgamation of various political parties, including the Movement for Change, which is led by former Trade Minister Honorable Allan Kojo Kyerematen, and agroeconomist Abu Sakare's National Interest Movement, has officially been launched here at the University of Professional Studies, Accra. The event, which was heavily attended by loyalists of the various political parties that have come together to form the Alliance, saw solidarity speeches by the various leaders of the Alliance.
We Ghanaians have witnessed the blame game between NPP and NDC to the detriment of our national development, progress, and prosperity for all. Each of them has governed this nation for 16 years with no significant progress. Now most Ghanaians are either losing hope or have lost hope in our democracy. They wonder if Ghana will ever work again. Most Ghanaians are just tired of the duopoly and are wondering if there can be a third force to give them hope. Thankfully, over 6 years of call, this has given birth to the Alliance for Revolutionary Change.
Speaking at the event, the presidential aspirant who's running on the ticket of the Alliance for Revolutionary Change, Honorable Allan Kojo Kyerematen, reiterated the Alliance's resolve to break the duopoly of the NDC and the NPP.
After 67 years of independence, we are still grappling with the fundamental challenges of development. An economy in crisis, an extraordinarily high level of unemployment, a declining healthcare delivery system, an educational system that does not respond to our current and future development needs, the rampant and irresponsible exploitation of our natural resources, and the deplorable state of infrastructure, including but not limited to road and rail networks, energy, water, and sanitation.
Ghana has witnessed the birth of a new alliance. On December 7, 2024, we'll be heading to the polls to elect a new president. Will Ghanaians choose Allan Kojo Kyerematen as the first independent candidate to be elected president, or the duopoly will continue? Moses Desire Koyo reporting for Metro TV, University of Professional Studies, Accra.
Well, let's get some reactions on this as we speak to political analyst and senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Jonathan Asante. Good afternoon, Doc, and thank you for your time here. Well, what do you make of the Alliance for Revolutionary Change? Do you think that there's any significant impact that they'll be having in the political space or even come December's election?
Well, let me say good afternoon to your viewers and your good self. The point ought to be noted. As long as there is that perception that the duopoly has not served the right purpose, then obviously there is the need for a third force. But as to whether the third force currently under the leadership of Mr. Allan Kyerematen will make the necessary impact, that is a different question altogether. As of now, any journey or any attempt at reducing the impact of the duopoly in itself is good for our democracy, in the sense that it makes those at the helm of affairs in terms of the duopoly to do us right in terms of policy, in terms of infrastructure development, because if at the end of the day, if it is not NDC, it is NPP, if it is not NPP, it is NDC, then they have no reason to fail any of us. And the third force in itself is supposed to be a threat and a check of a sort on the duopoly. That is how I see it. But as to whether they will make the necessary impact, that is a different question.
Generally, what do you think about the figure Allan Kojo Kyerematen? Do you think that he will be able to, get as much people behind him come the elections in December?
Well, I think that you cannot underestimate the impact of Mr. Alan Kyerematen in the sense that where he is coming from, definitely he's going to have a negative impact on the ruling government. So for the 2024 elections, he can easily make that kind of impact. I have said time without number that at best, they can be kingmakers, but they can never be kings because they do not have the structures in place. To be able to win elections within the Fourth Republic, you need to have the structures in place. Because if you look at the duopoly, they have branch executives, they have constituency executives, they have regional executives, they have national executives, then they have a flag bearer. Now, all these structures are absent as far as this coalition is concerned. So it makes it appear more electoral, an electoral machinery, rather than a well-structured organization aimed at reducing the impact of the duopoly. So, as I said earlier on, the impact will be felt, especially when there is that voter apathy in the Ashanti region. And obviously, he coming from that particular part and having been up there in terms of the MPP, a bulwark for that matter, coming out of it and having this kind of tete-a-tete with all and sundry and bringing this coalition together, it would definitely make some impact. At best, what that can happen is to reduce the number of votes the party in government will have. I don't see the impact happening so much with respect to the NDC because there isn't any, a bulwark of a personality coming out of the NDC to go and form an independent kind of thing. So it is a bit murky, as far as the MPP's chances are concerned. It's very murky for them.
Also, we've seen another coalition, a grand coalition as it's called, from the PNC and other smaller parties. Looking at these smaller parties coming together, is that the best option, for them to be able to make sure that at least there's an impact that they make? As you say, they could reduce the numbers of the ruling party.
They wouldn't make any impact. Let the truth be told. They will not make even a quarter, of the votes that will be cast. They will not. Because as I said, you ought to be resourceful. You need to have structures in place. You see, anytime you have in mind that whatever association, whatever grouping, whatever party you are trying to form is electorally driven, it is why you don't make those impact. That is it. Because throughout the period of the governance of the NPP, what has been the alternative views of some of these people who say that today they are forming independent, they are forming grand alliances here and there? It is much ado about nothing. It is merely a ridiculous, attempt at forming something to gain some names so that their names will be on the presidential ballot or the sheet. That is all. That is where it ends. Other than that, in terms of impact, significant, no. The problem is that the electorate do not have time to ask themselves questions like, what impact can you make? If I vote for you, what shows that you'll be able to make the necessary impact or even win the election? Okay. For that reason, I can't vote for you. I'll have to still think of the NDC or the MPP thing. And if it is the MPP that the person doesn't want to continue, that person will really vote for the NDC. If the person is an MPP person and does not like the current leadership of the party, definitely he will vote for Alan.
Okay.
And that is how, the whole trend is going to be. So this grand coalition, this and that, I think that the less said about them, the better. With the Alan group, I think that they seem to have that seriousness. And even that one, they're going to face a lot more challenges. Because, look, if we begin to subject the kinds of things that they are saying into better scrutiny, then you will see that they will not be able to do the kinds of things that they say they are going to do. It is just waxing lyrical with political promises here and there, as others have done.
Right,
and that is where we have to go to.
Right.
Getting the kinds of things people say to proper scrutiny, looking at the envelope, the revenue envelope of this country, being with the IMF. On what grounds would you be able to do A, B, C, and D? If you say I'm going to generate this revenue, from what? And from where? How are you going to do that? How?
We may have to end it here, but thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Dr. Jonathan Asante Otrey is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast and a political analyst.